Hello and welcome to Bud's RPG Review, where I give my thoughts on role-playing games, card games and board games. Today's retro review is 1987's Slaughter Margin for Judge Dredd the role-playing game by Games Workshop. Okay, first a bit of history. Slaughter Margin is a 48-page box scenario that was one of two officially produced by Games Workshop. The box contains various floor plans for the encounters within the scenario, player handouts, cardboard cutout characters for use on the maps, and a catalogue of official figures for use with the scenario, as well as the scenario itself. Okay, to the cover. Here we have an excellent piece of art by 2000 AD alumni Brian Bolland. Okay, onto the scenario. On the opening pages we are treated to two quotes. "I've never held a grudge any longer than absolutely necessary" from Hunter S. Thompson, and "I kill for my country's sake" from Hideo Gosha's Tenchu. During the course of the scenario, you begin to understand the relevance of these quotes. As per other Judge Dredd material, each portion of the scenario is broken down into small chapters called progs. The scenario is recommended for 3 to 4 judges, of which 1 should be experienced. Firstly, we have a bit on GM preparation, and this is followed by player preparations. The story so far is where it all begins. The scenario was once centred around revenge. We are cast back to the 25th of November 1970 and the ritual suicide of writer Yukio Mishima. Mishima had failed to rally the Japanese self-defense force, the only army Japan was allowed after World War II, to his cause for legalizing the military that was outlawed in 1945, with the ultimate aim of restoring power to the emperor. Years later, a secret society was formed in Japan of nationalist fascists, whose foremost loathing was the USA, more specifically their use of the atomic bomb to win World War II, which they saw as cowardly. The Order, as they were known, adopted Mishima as their figurehead and called themselves Mishima's Ronin. The Order has continued existing ever since under a shroud of secrecy. They have expanded throughout the Japanese city of Nipsit. By 2090, they have gained control of the Sakui Corporation, Japan's largest industrial giant. The Mishimatsu have infiltrated many layers of society, including the army and government. The Order has now embarked on a project to avenge the deaths of those that fell in World War II, with the hope that it will provoke a war between Nipsit and Megacity 1. They've dubbed it Nagasaki Revisited. A Mishimite, Musashi Chuhoi, has been sent to Megacity 1 to work for a subsidiary of Sakui, the East Americas company. The mission he had was to construct a number of atomic bombs. Chuhoi was unhappy as he felt his cover would be blown due to the probable detection of radioactive material within the city. His problems were assuaged, however, when in the course of working for Sakui, he discovered the Kirksville missile silo in the Cursed Earth. This is a mothballed silo that was abandoned after the atomic war, and it contains 6 fairly intact Bannerman missiles. Chuhoi reported this back to the Order and advised to move the operation there to avoid detection. This was approved and the whole operation has been shifted there. Nagasaki Revisited has not gone unnoticed though. A Mishimite physicist, Banzui Nudo, has gone to Megacity 1 to assist East America's company's R&D department. A colleague of theirs, Conrad Gerhardt, suspects Nudo was up to something. Also, Nipsit Justice Central have realised the Ronin are planning something big and have sent a top agent, Hina Tanako, to Megacity 1 to investigate. The Ronin, however, already know of their suspicions. The scenario begins a full 3 days before Project Nagasaki is due to happen, using 3 of the Bannermans that have been restored to full working order. Nudo is leading a raid on the Vox to steal components needed to restore the other 3 Bannermans to full working order for a possible second strike. He and Chuhoi have built a powerful electronic jamming device which blocks radio communication. This is used to cover the raid. The judges are currently supervising a robo-dog show, Crofts, when the jammer is engaged. This causes the behavioural circuits of the robo-dogs to go haywire and start attacking people. The judges have to defeat the rampant robots and realise that something is wrong and that they can track the signal. During the mayhem the jammer causes, they receive reports of robberies at the Vox Museum and the Barker's Bank. If they go to the bank, they encounter the Bananas Gang, a group of intelligent apes that are robbing the bank, immediately noticeable by the fact that they are all dressed like Al Capone. If they choose to answer the call of the 20th Century Museum, or the Vox as it's known, they arrive to find it mostly deserted. The jammer has played mayhem with the electronics here. On the 2nd floor they encounter a footsie, but it is on the 7th floor where the trouble really is. Nudo and some Ronin are here, and depending on when the judges arrive they could be doing multiple things. The Ronin attack the judges without mercy, but Nudo can be captured and interrogated. There are multiple clues at the scene that the judges can pick up on. The next prog is the oddly titled Attack of the Vacuum Cleaners. In this chapter, the judges are called to the scene of 2 strange homicides and an apparent suicide. Unknown to the judges, the Mishimato have decided that Gerhardt and Tanako have outlived their usefulness. The Ronin have at their disposal a weapon which nobody will ever suspect, the control of almost every vacuum bot in the city. These Vacubots were ordered to kill Tanaka and Gerhardt. It's fairly unlikely that the players will be able to work this out, however, as the clues aren't exactly obvious. The following prog is called Turning Japanese, and this sees the clues leading the judges to the East Americas Company. When investigating here, the judges can discover the existence of Project Nagasaki and also the location of the silo. If the judges are clutching at straws here, the Justice Central Computer will advise them of the probability of a nuclear attack. Stratoport is next up. This prog begins with a judgment call by the GM. This is needed to determine whether Ronin regard the judges as a threat. If they consider that they are attacked by surfers of the Divine Wind, essentially kamikaze pilots on skyboards that try to kill them. The Justice Central Computer Mac has discovered that a suspiciously large amount of Nipsit nationals are suddenly leaving the city. Players are sent to the Stratoport to investigate. Most of the rest of the Mishimatu are attempting to steal a strap bat so they can get back to Kirksville. They engage a scrambler in order to break through the perimeter fence. Here the judges have the option of trying to stop the Ronin leaving or tailing them back to another silo, Bentham. At the silo, the judges not only have to contend with the Ronin, but also mech troopers that have been guarding the silo since the last nuclear war. The Justice Department asks the judges to go to a second site to check whether any further missiles are prepared. The final prog, Colorado, has the judges searching for the Kirksville silo. Here they have a meeting with the local tribe of Native Americans, the Crew. The Crew are slightly odd, probably due to radiation poisoning, and behave like every negative movie and book stereotype that has ever happened over the years with regard to Native Americans. Here the judges have a final showdown with the Ronin. In conclusion, I found Slaughter Margin to be frankly poor. The box set clearly flatters to deceive. The adventure is tiny and the box is padded out with things that are just not needed. I found the adventure pretty confusing and also fairly boring. I found myself losing interest many times while reading it for this review and found myself having to refer back to it multiple times. As with all Games Workshop Judge Dredd products, the encounters and pretty much everything throughout are driven by recycled 2000 AD art. I found the adventure writing to be lazy and full of genre tropes, but not done in a smart, funny way that 2000 AD does them. For me, this scenario is absolutely for collectors only. The price this demands on eBay and the like is in no way comparable to the quality of the scenario. I would give this a 3 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to check out my other reviews. Bud out.